Easy, straightforward artificial intelligence image generation. That's what we're discussing in today's video. Focus. So this is Focus, and I'm not going to attempt to even say the project developer there because I would only insult. I have no idea. Um, But thank you very much for this project. And if you don't know what Focus is, it's basically an AI image generator. Now, we've already done one of these type of videos on this channel before using Comfort UI. This is dead easy. This is so easy, in fact, that it only requires you to enter a few words and click generate, and boom, on your screen will pop up in a matter of minutes. Lots of variations of different images generated entirely by the Stable Diffusion and Focus checkpoints and anything else that you may have downloaded after witnessing things in this video. So let's just go over the GitHub page for a few seconds here. So this is Focus. It's got almost 40,000 stars on GitHub. It's been forked over 5,000 times. It's being watched 287 times. I'm going to hit star myself because I am greatly impressed by this program. The development is fairly active. Its most recent update as of this video was 3 weeks ago to version 2.4.3. Now, I'm going to show you in today's video two ways of installing this. One on Linux, which is my Ubuntu server, and I'm also going to show you how to install this on Windows 11. The first method, and just as a caveat out there, some requirements for this video, you are going to need an NVIDIA GPU. You can run this CPU only, but it will be very slow. If you don't mind that, that's absolutely fine, depending on your processor. Feel free to continue with the video. If you have an AMD GPU, you may want to check out some other guides. This is out of the scope of this video. So we'll start with Windows first because it's extremely easy to get this running on Windows in just a few clicks. So we're going to scroll down the page and get to download, where we can just literally click the download button here. We're going to download this into the Keith Lewis Downloads KLTech Videos folder. And it's going to download as Focus Win64. It's a 7-zip archive. So we'll get that down there. Okay, and we're in the folder. So all we've got to do at this point is just extract that file there. And that's done. So now we can delete the actual downloaded 7-zip file. And we've got Focus here. So we're going to go into Focus. And then you've got a few options here. We're literally just going to hit the run bat file. We're going to double click that file. And it'll open up a command prompt. Don't worry about this. You don't have to do anything with it. It's basically now going to download the first checkpoint, the first file that basically has all that imagery, all that samples that will eventually turn into your creations. The first checkpoint has downloaded. Now it's identified I have an RTX 3080 in this laptop. And then it's going to spit open a web page for us where we can start doing our creations. Now you can immediately at this point just start typing stuff in here, you know, a cowboy riding a horse, whatever you were into. But just as a few tips, the first thing you should really do in here is click the advanced button down here. You can select how many images you want it to start processing once you click generate. You don't want to set it too high unless you want to cancel it out, but maybe about 5 will do for you right now. Something I always put in the negative prompt is low quality and noise. Again, it'll work perfectly fine without it, but it's better to have something than nothing. You can also choose here the resolution and aspect ratio of your file that you're going to be outputting these images. So you can mess around with what you want in here. And believe it or not, the same text will get slightly different outputs of images based on this setting. So you might want to play around with this too. We're going to leave that what it is. You can choose if you want it to be super fast, speed to quality. I tend to think leaving it here in speed is perfectly fine, and it gets a nice balance. And then under model, this is where it just downloaded that checkpoint for us, and this is the first file that it downloaded. Now, there's nothing in the refiner currently, but I am going to suggest that you do put something in there at some point, and I think that should be, even if it's just this Excel file, again, and what we can do in here is we can go into here, go back into our focus directory, scroll down to models, checkpoints, and literally if we just click copy and head back to our web browser, click refresh files, you'll see that we have, it would have let us do the original anyway. That's fine, it wasn't showing it just now. But literally we could just click copy here. And although they're the exact same file, I just find that it rounds off images a little bit better. Now, there are a lot of different things to download in terms of models and refiners and different checkpoints and different LoRa's. We can get into that later. Right now, I just wanted to give you a quick overview of how we could do these things. Now, it's as simple as this. We can type in something like a fairy tale castle with a princess in a tower guarded by, I can spell properly, guarded by a red huge dragon with fire. And all you've got to do is hit generate. There's nothing else to it. It's as simple as that. And it will begin using your GPU or CPU if you haven't got one. And if you're using a GPU, you'll notice this is a bit faster, considerably faster than using just the CPU. Right now, it's loading those models in at the top here, as you can see. And then it's preparing our text, because the best thing about Fooocus is whatever you put in this box here, it's going to massively add to that in the background. It's going to go in depth on the descriptions, so you only have to type in a few little things and it'll just go from there. So it's preparing those tasks. And in less than a minute there, it's already begun to create an image. And as you can see, the AI is formulating an image there. And it might not be the one you were thinking of. It might not be one that you wanted. But it's certainly a great image, and that could be used as a great Welsh dragon. I am from Wales in the United Kingdom, so I love my red dragon here. It is on my flag. And past the 15 mark, as you notice, just comment on the steps I'm here. Once we go over 15, it started refining the image. And the final image will pop out will look a little bit more sharper than this. And it'll give us an image now to spit out. There it is. While it prepares the next one, we can have a quick look at this. And that's the image that we've got there. Now, I don't see my princess. But that's not bad. This is a great fairy tale castle and a dragon. Is the next image going to be an improvement? Doesn't always get it right. I mean, the head on fire is certainly not what we were looking for there. But that's the beauty of it. Also, if you do see images here that you don't want, you can just click skip before it completes. And then it won't continue processing that specific image. And therefore our castle is now on fire instead of our dragon. So we're going to skip that. We don't want that. And it'll discard this image and then start processing a next one. And we've set up to 5. We're on image 4 now. Oh, I think we might have our princess. So in our 4th image, we've got our princess. And our castle and our dragon. That's great. That's a really nice POV there. Point of view from down here at the bottom of the garden in the castle. Looking up with the massive wings like that. And if we go here, look, we can see a bit of a better image there. I like the wooden doors there too. Nice detailed bricks. What's the last image it's putting together for us? Oh, we've got our princess again in the last image. Oh, that looks Game of Thrones like right there. Could almost pass it off as Daenerys. Might even get a better ending. And as you can see, as it comes to the last few steps in this process, it'll spit that image out for us right here at the bottom. So there's our images. Obviously, we skipped one, so we have 4 out of the 5 we initially did. I'm loving that. That's my favorite so far. Oh, there is a kind of a princess. You'll notice with the AI, it hasn't really detailed everything there, but there is a way to upscale that. That's great. And that is nice. Very nice. So it's as simple as that. That's your basic Windows install. A few clicks and you're done. If you've got the right hardware with you, you should be good to go. Now let's look at installing this on Linux. Now I've SSH'd into my Ubuntu server. This is the equivalent of you running this on Linux right now in your terminal. So the caveat again here is making sure that you have your NVIDIA graphics card, or if you're running this off CPU, making sure you've got a decent CPU to make it run nice and fast. The other thing is make sure that you've got your latest NVIDIA drivers installed. Again, this is out of the scope of this video. And I have heard that having the NVIDIA toolkit also helps. Now, I have both of those things already installed on my Ubuntu server, simply because I use my NVIDIA graphics card in Docker containers. And although this has nothing to do with Docker, that's why that's there. You're going to need to make sure that you've got Python 3 installed on your Linux installation before starting this process. So we're just going to run those 2 commands together, copying and pasting them like that, and putting them straight in. Now, I already have it on my system, so I am expecting an error message here. And yes, as you can see, Python 3.10 is already the newest version. 3.10 is set to manually installed. So we don't have to worry about that. We can now move on. So what I'm going to do here is scroll down the page. There are a few ways to install this on Linux. And we're going to be using this Linux using the native system Python. So we're going to start off by changing directory. You can put this in any directory that you want. Okay, we're going to make directory here. Focus. Now, obviously, you might also be using the Linux GUI. You might be running that like Ubuntu with a GUI, so you might be doing this from the File Explorer, and that's absolutely fine. You don't have to copy this in the terminal if you want to use it that way. And we're just going to put sudo in front of a few of these commands because I'm not entirely sure what needs it and what doesn't. So we're going to copy the GitHub straight into this. And that's essentially downloaded. Now, it does say to paste in this Python 3 entry with update.py. And it says that if you want to open a remote port, use the -- listen on the end. And we are going to do that. However, if you run this in the terminal as is, it will, and you're SSHing into your server, it'll kind of take over the terminal. And if you try and get out of the terminal, close it down, it'll close down your Fooocus. So if you are running this in the terminal and you don't want that to happen, then I have a command which will be in the description below, which is called nohup. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. There you go. And we're going to run that. Now, I'm not entirely sure if you need to run this with sudo or not, but we're going to give it a go. And essentially what that's doing is it's spinning up your server instance for Fooocus. And we can also run this command, which will also be in the description below, to make sure that it is all running. And if we hit enter here, just so we can get our new line on the terminal, and we run this, yeah, we'll see that it is actually running there. Now, if you have a firewall installed on your Ubuntu, Linux server, whatever, you're going to have to open the port to allow other computers to get into it on your network, unless, of course, this is all on the same machine that you're using right now, and then you don't have to do anything like that. But if I just check my firewall, sudo uncomplicated firewall status numbered, you'll see that I've got port on the 30 line there, 7865 for TCP6, and 7865 there for TCP, allowing from anywhere. Okay, and it's still inside my local network. No one else can get onto that port apart from me in my local network. But it does mean that I can install this on my server as I'm doing, but access it on my Windows laptop as I am. So to do that, if you haven't already and you don't see those there, you literally just type in sudo uncomplicated firewall allow 7865/TCP. If you can spell properly, tap that command in there and it will add them on there. And as you can see, it's already skipped that because you can see that I've already done that. If yours was not set up like that, it would now be adding them to that. Now, if you get an error saying something along the lines of UFW command not found or something like that, that just means you don't have that firewall installed, which means you should be good to go. But if you still can't connect to it, it might be that you need to update your routing table or other firewall on your computer to allow that port to come into your server or wherever you're installing Fooocus on. So I just wanted to get that out there before we proceeded. And then what you want to do is open a web browser and you want to go to HTTP, the IP address of your server, or even localhost if you're running this directly on the same machine. That should be okay. And then it's going to be port 7865, which again will be in the link in the description below. 7865 port, reload the page, and we will see that it is now up and running in no time. And just to make sure we're doing it, we can just say city, streets, raining, frogs. Let's just give that a quick go, shall we? Oh, it's even faster on the Ubuntu server than on Windows. Nope, hasn't quite understood what I've said there. But you get it. And you can play around with this. We've definitely got the rain. We've definitely got the city street. But it's not actually raining frogs. And you've got to kind of mess around with it to get it going. Let's see if the second image generates. Have a look at the quality of this then. Lovely. Really nice. And here's our second image coming through now. I got to say, it's definitely a lot faster on the Ubuntu server, but that's probably because there's not as much overhead as there is on a Windows system. And while it might be negligible, this definitely is demonstrating that fact. I like that. So if you want to kill the process, if you want to turn it off from your server, because obviously it's going to be using RAM and video memory and things like that, you can actually just use this command here. Pop this in the system, and that will kill all processes. And if we refresh our page here, we'll see that it can't actually connect anymore. And it's as simple as that. So that's how you install, start up, generate, and kill the process if you want to. Simple as that, really. So that's your Linux install as well. I hope this video has been informative for you. I hope you've enjoyed it. And as usual, I'll catch you in the next one. Thank you.